So you've started your YouTube channel, you've uploaded some videos, and you've got some views starting to roll in. But what metrics do you really need to focus on in order to get more views coming into your YouTube channel? Now, it does take time for you to get some cut through on YouTube, and even if you are an experienced YouTube campaigner. For me, this is my second YouTube channel. My other YouTube channel has over 80,000 subscribers, gets over 200,000 views a month, and it provides me with over 7,000 high quality leads every month, which is the foundation for my 7-figure business. But with all of that knowledge, even when I've started this new YouTube channel, it still takes time for you to start to get some success with YouTube. And the reason for that is that you do need to understand that with a YouTube channel is that it does take time for YouTube to have confidence in your channel and to really nail down the audience, because what happens with YouTube is remembering that the vast majority, above 70% of all views, come from the different recommendation options inside of YouTube. A good way of thinking of it is that YouTube really needs to trust that if they were to recommend your video, that your videos would be able to maintain a couple of core metrics. So a great way of growing your YouTube channel is to really focus in on a couple of core metrics. And if you can improve them, you can then also see an improvement in the number of views that your YouTube channel gets. Now, a little side note is that my focus is very much for teaching YouTube educators how they can monetize their knowledge through YouTube. So I do want to put a little bit of a note here that what I'm about to show you, the metrics that I'm really looking at focusing on, is very much focused on YouTube educators who we don't need the most viral content. All we need is we need just to find our audience that is highly engaged, which can generate enough leads for our business. And the process which I'm about to take you through is the process that I went through on my own channel. And I'll show you the results. We saw a skyrocketing in views over a 2-month period once we'd had enough videos and we'd really started to focus in on the right metrics. So what I wanted to do with this video is I wanted to make it as practical as possible. So we're going to jump into an extended screen share, and I'll really walk you through the YouTube studio and how to read the data so that you can get the best results for your own YouTube channel. All right, let's jump into that screen share now. Okay, so we're in the YouTube studio for my first channel, which when we go into analytics, you can see has, at the time of recording, just over 81,000 subscribers. Now, I know that's definitely not the largest channel in the world, but as I said, this channel, which is focused on Google Ads, generates me over 7,000 high quality leads, which I then use to go through and offer and sell some different services. And that is the basis of our 7-figure business. The biggest thing that I do want to let you know about a YouTube educator, it's not about having the largest channel, it's about having the most engaged audience, and by you providing high quality teaching content to that audience. But I want to share a couple of things just to really focus in on. And where I'm going into here is if we go into this advanced mode and focus on views and then go to views again, this is going to bring up this screen. And what I've done is I've gone into the time frame of January 2022 through to November 2022. And this is because we started posting content at the start of January. And what you can see through here is that each month, we were at 1,300, 3,800, 8,000. We then started to crack over 12,000 views. But then you can see from June, we were under 30,000. And then by the end of October, we're just under 170,000. And then we're up at 185. Now, what happened in through here is in June, what I did is I started to spend a lot of the time around these core metrics. And the 3 core areas that we're really going to focus on is firstly, our thumbnails. So our click-through ratio, our intros, and then our retention dips or increases. Now let me show you how to look at all of that data. So firstly, we are in the advanced mode. When you're in your dashboard, go into analytics, then go into your advanced mode. And what you want to be doing, I'm going to take you back through to the data that we were looking at in 2022, and I'll run through to the end of August and click apply. What I was really looking to focus on is I was starting to focus on the click-through ratio. So the first thing that really wanted to look at, I was going through and looking at any thumbnails that were giving me a higher level of click-through ratio. So you can see all of these ones, a lot of them were at 5.5, 4.3, but I had a couple that were up here at the 9s. We also had one at a 7. And what I really started to look at is I started to look at what was the difference between these thumbnails and ones that had a lower click-through ratio. And for me, there was a couple of things that I started to realize. What I firstly started to realize is that I started to realize where I was using thumbnails where I was just repeating what I was saying in the title. So this one like clicks but no conversions. The title was getting no conversions. conversions. You know, for this one, how to set up Google Ads shopping, and it was just like Google Ads shopping secrets. But what I was finding is if I was doing things where I wasn't saying what was happening in the title, but I was giving, you can see how here I was giving like a little 30 days and showing a really good result. With this one here, it only had one word, but I was also showing that there's a time limit on that. And in this one, it was like a statement of profit in 7 days. So what I was really starting to drill in on is that the thumbnails where I was making a controversial statement or giving a clearer result, not giving the user a full picture, they were performing better. And as you can see, these weren't the highest quality thumbnails. So my thumbnails have gotten a lot better since then. So the first thing that I really did find was that I looked to really focus on thumbnails that weren't answering the full question. So what I'm going to do here is I've actually got a full training on thumbnails. At the end of this video, I'm going to show you where you can watch that extra training. And if you follow a link that I'm going to put in the description below, you can also get access to my thumbnail cheat sheet. So that's the first area you want to go through and have a look at. You want to go through and pick a time period and have a look at which videos are giving you the highest click-through ratio. Ideally, if you've got any videos that have a click-through ratio of above 7, and really focus on those ones and look to see the difference between those thumbnails and your other thumbnails that have a click-through ratio of lower than 5%. So the next part that we want to look at is we want to start looking at our retention levels. And what we're really looking at here is what videos are engaging our audience the most. Now, an idea goal here is I look for videos that you want to have at least 4-minute watch time. And once again, we are going into the audience section. I've chosen a larger date range of the last 365 days. If you don't have that in data, just pick the longest date range that you have, but you want to have a collection of at least 30 to 40 videos that you can go through and review. And go through, you can see here videos growing your audience, and just go through and click see more. And what you want to start doing is you want to review these top performing videos versus the bottom performing videos. And if you click on these individual videos and then go into the analytics. Now, when I do this, I usually do go through and take some different screenshots as we go through. But as you can see from here is that, you know, over the first 33 seconds, we still have a attention rate of above 65%. Let's go back. And then let's go to some of these bottom performing videos. I'll just choose this one in through here. And you can see this one at the 30-second mark, we've already lost over 50% of our viewers. So what I start to look at there is I start to look at the intros, and I really start to look at what have I done wrong with my intros? Have I not got a good hook in those intros? And the other thing that I started to really realize with my videos and my audience is that all of these top performing videos for growing my audience, I had a really solid first 30 seconds. So the other thing, what I really started to work in with my video editor and also with my own content, this one took a little bit of time, I will admit, it did take some time, but what I did is I went through these top 5 videos and rewatched the first 30 seconds. Then I looked at these bottom performing videos, rewatched those videos again for the first 30 seconds, and started to make some notes about, was there something in common? Now, for me, what I found is that what I needed to do is I needed to pose a question in the first 10 seconds. And then that next 10 seconds, I had to really let them know that I was going to solve that problem. So that's the second thing. So the first thing you want to be looking at is reviewing your click-through ratio. The second thing you want to be reviewing your audience and really looking at those first 30 seconds to really see what the videos where you're retaining the most retention, what's the commonality about those videos. And then the last thing that I like to look at is we are once again in the content section. So we're in analytics content. And if you see over to here, you can see this top moments. I go through and I review my top moments, my spikes, and my dips. And what I do, similar to what I did about the introductions, I go back and I look at these top moments and I look to see a video like this where, you know, you can see I had a pretty flat line going across the whole way. So I go back and I have a look at that video to really see what was the speed of that video, what was the flow, why was it so engaging? And then also, once again, look at the dips. I look to see with these dips, is there anything in common as to why people kept leaving or dropping away from my content? Now, with a lot of these videos, you can see it's right at the end, which kind of makes sense. But for this one, you can see we had a massive dip in here at the start of the video. So I look at those two and really start to look at why were we seeing that big dip away at those sections. And that's 3 ways that I use YouTube Studio in order to review my analytics so that I can improve the quality of my videos. Remembering, you want to go through and review that click-through ratio to really drill down on what are the core aspects in your thumbnails that are helping to increase your click-through ratio. And as promised, if you want to get access to my thumbnail cheat sheet, I want you to follow that link in the description below so I can take you through my rule of 3 for YouTube thumbnails for YouTube educators. And then you also want to go into the audience section, check out your intros, see what's happening with your best performing intros where you're holding more people for the first 30 seconds. And then also see what happens when you lose people. What are you doing in those intros which are giving you worse performance? And then finally, you also want to look at those spikes and dips. Are there common things or common themes in your videos where if you say a certain thing or if you do a certain thing that you see people come back and retain, or sadly, if you see people drop off? And then what you can do is look to make sure that you've got those elements in your videos which help with retention and you're moving away from doing those things which make people step off your videos. Thank you for joining me. It's been an absolute pleasure having you here. And as promised, if you want to see my full training about YouTube thumbnails for YouTube educators, I want you to go through and watch this video right here. Once again, thanks for joining me. My name is Aaron Young from 7 Figure Coaching. It's been an absolute pleasure having you here. See you next time.